Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. Before we get started with this showcase, I just want to let you know that Keen is hosting a live stream for the next major update for Space Engineers. Yes, they're going to be showcasing the Broadside update and what it brings with the DLC pack, and most likely the update and DLC pack will launch at the same time. So there's that if you've been waiting for it, and if I don't see at least one ship with 50 railguns strapped together, I'll be most disappointed. But yes, enough of that, on to this. Today I'm looking at one of your designs that you have linked me in the comments section of one of my videos. And this one is called the XKR-151-C Revolution Dropship, which is this lovely thing over here. Now this is one of the strangest ships I have ever flown in Space Engineers. It uses only 3 thrusters, 1 atmospheric to keep it off the ground on a planet, and 2 ion to make it move down in space. For the rest of this ship, it uses a piston system, which if you cast your mind back, if you can remember, I did a video on something called a piston door drive, where it rammed a piston into a door to create a tremendous amount of thrust, and it could go so far that it could break the speed limit, and that's what's been implemented into the ship. But anyway, pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, the XKR says it's 6,645 small blocks, using the Heavy Industry, Sparks of the Future, and Decker Block number 2 DLC pack. We've got absolutely no information, so we'll simply give this a thumbs up. I'll double click on this, because it's actually only 2,226 blocks, which is a little bit smaller. And once again, it's probably going to be because of the projector that projects the entire ship to make it easier to repair. What I'll do now is just come all the way around towards the very front. We'll have a quick look around the outside, we'll have a quick look of the interior, then we'll fly around for a bit and I'll show you how the piston system is working. But for the moment, my character can now bugger off. There we go. Just activate his jetpack so he doesn't fall infinitely. And here we go. So at the very front here, this is what we get. Front and center, we've got one hell of a lot of gatling guns to blast your enemies with. And with this amount of gatling guns, nothing is going to stand in your way when you open fire. Now these gatling guns have been situated just a little bit away from the body, so if something did start to target it, hopefully it won't damage the main body of the ship. So if we come all the way around, that's how it's been done. Just below this, we've got another little area, which is going to be to aim our gatling guns. So this is a camera sitting behind some bulletproof glass, and we've got 3 transparent LCD screens showing us our ship integrity, our enemy radar, and in the middle here is our bullet tracking system to be able to precisely aim against a moving target to hopefully not waste any ammunition, which is going to be very much needed with this amount of guns. If we were to start to move around the side, what we're going to see is one of 2 areas to drive this ship. It's going to be the same on the opposite side, so there we are, and it's set up identically. Yes, we've got multiple layers of bulletproof glass to make sure you are very protected from any kind of shots coming towards you, so hopefully you can fly this thing around in combat and not get shredded by a large ship. So what we've got is 3 layers of bulletproof glass. So putting the free camera all the way through, that is our first layer. That's our second, and there is our third with a seat right behind it. If I was to continue around the outside of this thing, we'll see some more lovely block work and some great use of our beam blocks. We've got a turret that's been, like our front guns, moved away from the main body of the ship. So in the middle here, where our gun is sticking to the main body, we've got some steel blocks acting as a pillar. Then if we come to the opposite side, we'll then have this section right here, which contains the conveyor to be able to get ammunition into it. So putting the free camera through this block, there we are. If it was to continue around towards the very back here, we then got this little section right here, where the ship comes equipped with 2 little land vehicles for you to drive around on a planet, and they are rather adorable. So they come equipped with a gyroscope on top, we've got an ion thruster on top, and all the way around over to here and at the very front. Then see a little area with a camera for you to drive this thing around. We also have a rocket launcher and gatling gun, so you can use this in combat if you're feeling brave. But yes, we'll take a look at them a bit later. If we were to move around towards the very back here, this is what we get. We can see the vehicle on the opposite side. We can see one lone atmospheric thruster just sitting between the 2 doors. And we've got these little non-moving ramps to be able to get into the ship and up to the side vehicles. If I was to move all the way up and above and start to look down, that is what we get right there. You'll be able to see one block is missing because I was testing out to see what the projector was doing. And yes, the projector is just projecting the entire ship to make it easier to repair. Yes, that's what we get on the very top, not too much else to talk about. but then we can see the cockpit at the very front on the opposite side. If we were to drop down and come underneath this thing past all of our Gatling guns, we've got a connector to dock this thing up, refuel it with ammunition, and we've got a couple of wheels acting as our landing gear to drop ourselves down on, and hopefully not deal too much damage if you did have a hard landing. Continue along towards the very back underneath the ship. That's what we get. Another wheel at the back there, and there is our little ramps to get up inside. And there we go, that is a very brief look around the outside of the XKR-151-C Revolution Dropship, and it is a rather weird design. I haven't seen anything like this on the workshop, and it's going to get even weirder when we start driving this thing around. So just grabbing hold of my character and we'll bring it all the way over and around towards the back. We'll need to get into a seat to be able to drive the little vehicles around, and it is going to be rather amusing because we're just going to launch them off into space to see what happens. PS is coming up to this and coming through the doorway like so. We now just turn it all the way around. There we go. So this is what we get on the inside. It's a very cramped interior for you to fit a lot of people in here, and you also have enough stuff to be able to survive in a long combat scenario. But yes, on the left and right hand side, as soon as you come in, we've got some programmable blocks. This is going to be for our auto aim system, our clang drive, which is how we're going to be moving this around with pistons on doors. Over here is our enemy radar script and our ship integrity. If we were to look over to here, we've got ourselves a survival kit to heal ourselves up and to respawn on, and a bunch of chairs around the outside for your troops to sit on. If we were to walk all the way through to here and towards the front, we'll just turn around and look back. There we go. We now get into one of these seats. So what these seats are for controlling the little vehicles on these sides. So we're going to need to find our remote control blocks. There it is right there. We're going to take control of it. And now what we're going to do is find the free camera. We're going to bring it all the way around towards where that vehicle is, ignoring that one which is gone. Well, it's slowly floating away. We're going to come all the way over to here. So we're going to disconnect that rotor. We'll need to do it inside this menu. There we go. And now we're going to detach it. So now that vehicle has been detached, I've now just launched it backwards, and it is just going to float away. And that's all the little vehicle is. It's a funny little rover for you to play around with. I don't think it'll do too well in combat. In fact, it might just blow up instantly. But you could have a little bit of fun with your friends just shooting it around, because it is a rather novel design. Yes, there it goes. That'll just flow off into the distance. And now we need to return back to the dropship right here. So just grabbing hold of my character once again, we'll come out of that seat. We can come into this seat all the way up to here and look in first person view. There we go. We can see all the window blocks protecting us. And we've got a fairly good view all the way around. Bring up the HUD. This is going to be for our Gatling guns at the very front. So bring the free camera all the way around once again here. And we're going to start firing them. There we go. That is going to deal one hell of a lot of damage to whatever you hit. And it's a rather scary sight. That's enough of that. We can come out of here. We'll move around to the opposite side. All the way around into this seat. Number one is going to be for our camera right below our Gatling guns. And you'll be able to see the LCD screen in the middle there with how it's going to be able to let you track moving targets. So just moving over to here and moving over to there, you'll see where your bullets are going to be going. Number two is once again our Gatling guns at the top there, so we can just shoot them around, and you get the idea. But yes, driving this thing around, this is a very wonky ship, and yes, we're just going to move forwards, and as you can see there, we do sort of wander a little bit, but we do have some fantastic speed. Coming to a stop as well is fantastic. And if we were to start to move left, and move right, you can see it sort of wobbling around quite a lot. Yes, we do move left and right, and it is very fast in all directions. If I was to wiggle the mouse around, this is what we get. It's a little bit weird. It's very, very floaty, yet it has a little essence of being extremely heavy. That just might be because of how the piston system has been set up, but it's a rather odd thing to fly around. If I was to find the free camera and find out where the ship has gone, there it is. I'll poke it all the way through the ship, and I'll show you the pistons on the doors. So all the way over to here, we're just going to hide that for the moment, slow the camera all the way down, and here is one setup to help us go up and down. So it's simply just a piston onto a door that applies a certain amount of pressure when you want to go in a different direction. And that's all the script is managing to make sure you don't have to do it manually to get rather fiddly and go completely out of control very quickly. But yes, as for that, there's not too much else to talk about with the XKR-151-C Revolution Dropship. It's a lovely dropship, it's a very odd design with everything going on with it, and it should deal a nice lot of damage. But now we're going to see just what's going to happen when we collide it with an asteroid. And there we go, that's a rather good crash. We haven't had one of them for quite some time. And we can't seem to move this around anymore. It sort of just fused itself with the asteroid. What's gone on here? So we need to somehow escape out of here, through the doorway, and this is what we get. So we can clearly see our projector block projecting everything, and we might have destroyed some of the pistons to make us move backwards, but it looks like we only lost our gatling guns at the front, and the ship is still in one operational piece. But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm having too much fun with this. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download it and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.